Williamson is 10 times the world champion. Bax and Stupilis, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin van Leeuwen certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable.
Welcome again, dear friends and fans of sidecar motocross. 14 rounds later and the climax is here. Rudersberg in Germany has lots to offer people of all generations. Many of them will be forsaking the quaint buildings, the bars, the cobbled streets to make a short journey into the countryside for a special event. Come on, let's go too.
Guys, can you believe this? This is the 14th and the final round here in Rudersberg, Germany for the World Sidecarcross Champion Season 2019. This weekend we had 38 teams present and the quali day, so much action, so many fights because teams had to fight really hard to qualify, and race day, the gate was packed and with final 50 points on the line, it was incredible. What a wonderful season this has been. Last weekend we crowned our world champions. This weekend teams settled in overall standings. But were there any surprises? Well, don't go anywhere because the final action will be right here, right now. But let's start with a recap.
The season kicked off in the deep sand of Lommel. This was home ground for the reigning champions Marvin van Leeuwen and Ben van den Bogart. They did not disappoint and took overall victory. No race wins yet, but that would change. Then it was off to Spain, where Valentin Giraud took race 1 glory to the delight of his new German passenger, Andres Haller. Etienne Bax and Kasper Stupilis wanted that red plate, but their day would come. Round 3 in Holland, and that sealed the deal for Bax and Stupilis. Double race wins and overall victory meant the red plate was here to stay on the 82 bike, or was it? Kramelin in the Czech Republic, and the battle was really on. Double winners here last year, Van Leeuwen and Van den Bogart mastered nightmare weather conditions, but they pulled off double victories. Etienne Bax had problems. Round 5 in the Ukraine was all Bax and Stupilis with double wins. Marvin and Ben lost the red plate again. Finally, we were in Podium in France, where local hero Valentin Giraud and Andres Haller took victory. Van Leeuwen and his passenger parted company with the young Belgian crashing out big time. It was Bax and Dierkens on the podium with Giraud on the top step. Then on to Kivioli in Estonia, where the track brought consolation to Van Leeuwen but also a rock in the face.
Yeah, we make it at the end on a good result, so it was, okay.
Markelo in Holland was notable for 2 things: a career-ending crash for Valentin Giraud and double delight for Etienne Bax and Kasper Stupilis.
Winning double is always good, and we get again 6 points on the concurrence, so it was a good weekend.
Was Stressbessen back in Germany the turning point for Marvin van Leeuwen and Ben van den Bogart? I wonder.
Feeling on the bike is back good again, so we're ready to fight back.
The heat of Stelpa in Latvia took its toll on everyone, and with over 300 jumps each race, only the fittest would succeed. Double hole shots gave Anna Dierkens and Robbie Bax 1 win and 1 second place. And despite Etienne Bax's best efforts, it was overall victory for the first time for the whole shot kings, Dierkens and Bax. But moving into Switzerland, Etienne Bax and Kasper Stupilis were closing in, and they made no mistake here with a very impressive double. Maximum points and overall victory, no better way to spend a weekend. That title was getting closer. It was off to Hoek in Belgium for round 12 and the Vineyard circuit near Brussels. It saw new blood flex their muscles with an overall podium for Jake Brown and Joe Millard.
Could not believe it. It was just like a dream come true, really, So yeah.
But there was only one crew treading the grapes. On home ground, Marvin van Leeuwen and Ben van den Bogart were unstoppable.
Yeah, for us it was a perfect weekend last weekend, and yeah, for sure for a home GP, it's very nice.
Then came Dardon-Guignon in France, and it was another overall podium for the young Brits Brown and Millard.
We just rode, and we was very lucky, you know, and yeah, we've got to take the most out of that moment. It was amazing, so yeah, happy.
But race 1 victory sealed the deal for Bax and Stupilis. 25 points put it out of reach of Van Lukenen, and the job was done.
I was happy that it was finished by the first moto and that we could start to celebrate.
But it was 0 in race 2 when the rear wheel fell apart. Oh well, that's racing. Did it matter? Well, not really. They were already champions. Just rewards for a well-fought season. So coming here then to the finale in Germany, that unassailable lead, they've done it, job done. Van Lukenen, Hermans, there's a bit of a battle going on there between Hermans and Dierkens for third place, and Brown, well, he can only go forward if he rides well here. Varrock Compilati in the mix as well. Julian Veldman not having the best of seasons, but he's here this weekend with his young brother, Sam. Gert van Verven, Willemsen, will we see him back next year? The word is yes. This picturesque hillside track, a very fitting location for the 14th and final round. On our 10-country tour of Europe, this is where we find ourselves, Rudersberg in Germany, down there in the southwest corner of this huge nation. Typical sidecar motocross country. Out there somewhere is our trackman, Steve Randall.
Welcome to the last track walk of the year. My name's Steve Randall. Here in Rittesberg, this track is a hard-packed track. It is fairly difficult, fairly technical and fairly fast. I'm joined here from Adrian Petter, the local German rider. Adrian, this track for you will be a good weekend. How this start straight for you and the first turn, difficult or not so bad?
Yeah, not so bad. It's a wide corner, but start is very important on this track. Passing is not so easy here, but they changed the corner as well, so we will see.
Before this turn was a very big bold turn. It was advantageous to the left-hand shares. This year we will have to wait and see. We'll now move on to the next part and show you some more. We are at the bottom end of the circuit now. It's a tight little section, a little right-left flick with a little step down, and then behind us you can see a step up. Now Adrian, this is a fairly new part of the track. Difficult again, or is it fairly simple?
It's simple, but I think it's difficult to jump this little double behind us. Yeah, we will see tomorrow, and if the weather will be dry, it's not so difficult, but if it rains, it's impossible, I'm sure. Yeah.
Again, as we're saying, this track is all about getting your speed and getting your correct lines and doing your correct lines. So we will go on to the next part of the track and show you some more. This part of the track is the last part of the track. They come past us on the right-hand side of us here, down past the pit boards and get their boards, down into this chute behind us before they accelerate back up onto the start line. Again, this is very important to get your drive onto the start straight to start your next lap.
Yeah, you need to find the speed down this corner and let the bike roll.
So if you just let the bike roll, let the bike do what it wants to do, but be on top of it to get the drive out to go onto the start straight. Well, I hope you've enjoyed all our track walks this year. Thank you very much for joining us. My name's Steve Randall. See you again soon.
And a very spectacular track it is too. I almost wish I was racing. Not really, forget I said that, folks. Koen Hermans and Nicolas Musset embroiled in that battle for third place. They need a good ride here. Are they up for it, do you think?
This morning I'm feeling still painful. My foot is blue and big. So I can try for the final round. I do my maximum, and we will see it for the race. But yeah, the track is really good for us. It's a good memory for me. And 6 years ago, I win my first race, and 2017 double race win. So we will see this year how we do.
The all-important qualifying races for those vital grid positions for the Grand Prix races got underway. Group A qualifying, and it was a terrific start by Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain, sliding on the inside of Koen Hermans and Nicolas Mousset, who got a flyer as well. So Hermans and Mousset, despite that knock on the ankle that Nicolas Mousset was talking about, were going well. They intended to push hard. Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain, though, the dust already beginning to kick up on this track, and it had been heavily watered overnight and in the morning session before the warm-up. But Brown and Chamberlain, from the word go, just set down a marker that was to be lived up to all weekend. They were in incredible form here in Germany. Christoph and Maxime Couche were holding Bax and Stupelis at bay. They didn't get the best of starts, but the newly crowned champions were in the mix. They had absolutely nothing to lose here. This was a no-pressure weekend for them. The red plate, the FIM gold medal, was already theirs, but Hermans and Mousset chasing Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain really hard. Bax and Stupelis made it past the Couche cousins up to third. So they were in third in this Group A qualifying. Remember, this was all about grid positions, and that will be vital, actually. Looking at this track here at Rudersberg, you would need a good start up that short start finish straight. It funnels in very, very quickly. Bax was soon on the back of Hermans and Mousset, and these crews, of course, have clashed and locked horns very much over the last 2 or 3 seasons. Nicolas Mousset, the vastly experienced French passenger, as you heard in his interview, first here 7 years ago and won his first race here, so quite a special place for him. Bax then, he and Stupelis were very soon past Hermans, and then setting after Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain, but the gap at the front was enormous. The Couches fighting off a challenge from Marco Heinze and Rudi Betschart, who had come strong at the closing stages of the season. This pair, the number 19 crew, had really shown what they were capable of in the latter part of the 2019 season, and we sincerely hope that we see a full Grand Prix season from these young guns in 2020, which is already shaping up to be an absolutely fantastic year. So many changes, so much ahead of us, so much anticipation, and this world of Sidecarcross at this level just gets better and better and better. Heinze and Betschart looking very strong, moving their way up the order, and the Couches having been relegated down into 5th place at this point. Still though, in third it's Hermans and Mousset. In second it was Etienne Bax and Casper Stupelis, but there is no mistaking the leaders in this Group A qualifying. Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain were doing an absolutely fantastic job on the AMS Husky 4-stroke. This man's ability belies his years, and he is not done yet, I can tell you. Jake Brown, his son, showing every much verve and talent, as this Macclesfield warrior has shown over a long and illustrious career at world level and at British level. Brown and Chamberlain in the sunshine here, looking almost as if they're going shopping on a Sunday afternoon, were supreme on this Rudersberg track. It makes so much difference when you're out in front. You can just ride the track at your own pace, no traffic, no stress. Look how calm and collected they were in this Group A qualifying. Big British contingent here supporting these boys over the weekend, the final round, and of course in the not too distant future there will be the Sidecarcross of Nations back here in Germany again. So still one big international race on the Sidecarcross calendar for everyone to look forward to before everyone goes away over the winter, rethinks their plans, negotiates the business deals, talks to passengers. Driver pairings will change inevitably, and we at WSC are poised to return in 2020 with an even better programme for you, as indeed Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain took victory here. They are poised to be back. It was a convincing Group A qualifying win for Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain. Bax had no answer for them. He was over 10 seconds adrift at the finish. 17 seconds in fact. And this is how they qualified. Brown, Bax, Hermans, Kusch was there, Van Verven. So the challenge from the number 19, Heinze, faded.
I must say, Stu and Josh are very fast on this track. And we know this already for many years, but now they were on fire. So yeah, it's good to see that those guys are leading. We try our best, but we honestly we could not follow, and we missed every lap, some 300 still half a second. So yeah, it was just faster, and maybe we can try to change the setup a little bit slightly in some places and be better tomorrow.
Group B qualifying was to come next, and young Jake Brown, could he emulate the result of his father? I wonder. Certainly looked focused enough.
I've never rode it before, so this morning I was a bit shocked because I think it was 2016. I come here, it was completely different. So putting the fourth lap time, fastest lap time, I was pretty impressed, to be honest. Yeah, we're happy with that.
Third place in the standings still up for grabs, but Arne Jurkens and Robbie Bax need to deliver.
Pain is not so bad, just not enough power in my arm, but I can handle it actually quite okay. Second time, really happy with that, but yeah, for in the quali we can try to win it, because I want to focus for the last GP. I want to win this.
Group B, and could the whole shot kings, Jurkens and Bax, do it again? Well, under blue skies, the gate dropped and everyone completely focused, shot away. Varric on the left-hand side, but an amazing start by Arne Jurkens and Robbie Bax, the number 10 crew. Kurt Varric, Laura Steiders had quite a strong sweep round the outside, but that was not the quick way to go. Very quickly, though, Jake Brown and Joe Millard, the all-red British crew with the left-hand sidecar, were up into second place and chasing. As indeed Gary Moles and Brian Anthony having a good ride in this one. Starting strongly, the Irish-Australian pairing, who've been together for 4 or 5 meetings towards the close of the season. Like each other's company, they get on well and they ride hard. The all-yellow strip. Van Luken and Van den Bogart were right down in the traffic behind Santemans and Beletskas at this point, so they'd got a bit of work to do. It was actually quite a narrow track. Passing on this RUDERSBERG circuit was not the easiest of tasks, so to get out in front was what you needed to do. But that whole shot by Jurkens and Bax gave them a clear track, but very quickly it was Brown and Millard on their case. Jurkens and Robbie Bax, though, as far as we know, will be riding together again next year. A good combination. You've got the exuberance of youth in the Arne Jurkens and the wisdom of a vastly talented passenger in Robbie Bax. It's a very sensible crew. They ride well. They certainly know how to get out of the gate, and this Group B qualifying in Rittesberg was no exception. Jake Brown and Joe Millard on the Zabel-powered 2-stroke, as opposed to Jake's father using the 4-stroke, nipped through on the inside and took the lead. And I can tell you, from this moment in time, Jake Brown and Joe Millard were not to look back. They were emulating the achievements of Father Stewart in Group A qualifying by getting out in front with a clear track and just keeping it all together. Van Luken, meanwhile, was making his way up the order. There was absolutely nothing to be gained apart from prestige by Van Luken. The number 1 plate had gone, the title had gone to Etienne Bax at the previous round, so the pressure was off everyone here. Second place in the championship was guaranteed and would stay that way until the end of the day's proceedings. No way could anyone catch Van Luken, but what was up for grabs was third place between Hermans and Jurkens, and that's what Jurkens was fighting for. Van Luken once passed Kurt Varric. Varric tried to chop back on the inside, but the action was frenetic all the way down the order. At the front though, Jake Brown and Joe Millard were opening up a significant gap from Dierkens and Bax, and that was how it was to finish in actual fact. Van Lukener making his way eventually up to third, but at this point he was already 11 seconds adrift of these young exuberant race leaders. Having tasted podium success twice, Jake Brown was hungry for more, and can you blame him? The number 28 crew looking so polished here. Now living in Holland, Jake Brown. Joe Millard still working and living out of Wiltshire, and making that journey every weekend to join his young teammate, and this is the sort of result they're getting for their efforts. What a pairing. Dierkens and Bax brought it home in second place ahead of Van Lukener. Varick and Didas, the number 7 crew, made fourth, and that is it. Brown, Dierkens, Van Lukener, Varick. Veldman was up there in 5th place. Kolenchik, George Kinch. Further down the order, Gary Moulds and Brian Anthony 10th.
It wasn't so hard if you got a good start. I think if we got a rubbish start, it would have been very difficult. But no, it was another one to remember.
And how difficult it was to get past Arne and Robbie?
Yeah, he was well on. He's a good rider, and Robbie does all he can to stop me coming past. It's cracking blokes, you know, and it was difficult. They may make it easy, so yeah, happy.
Well, last chance this battle. There were a lot of crews here in Germany, and of course Marco Heinz and Rudy Betschart found themselves fighting. There were some crews, of course, never destined to make it through, but everyone tries, and it's very tense. There is not one crew out there who has not found themselves in this position. 11 crews fighting for 6 places, and a lot at stake, not just a grid position on that coveted 2 rows at the gate, but also the travel indemnity, a small mention of money. Why not? Everybody has to spend a lot of money in this sport. The top riders all turn out as well to watch Last Chance. They understand what it's like. Most of them, at some point, have been there in their careers. The crowd, the supporters, all of the crews, mechanics, everyone stands by to watch, because it is so vital just to set one fast lap and get yourself on the grid for the 2 Grand Prix races tomorrow. Well, race day, the final 2 Grand Prix races for the 2019 season. Big crowd here in Germany, and it was a really fantastic atmosphere. Battles all the way down the field, an awful lot to play for. Even though the championship was decided further down the order, it was playing out a lot of drama, and particularly for 10th place, Veldman and Santerman split by just 2 points. Everybody wants to get into the top 10, don't they? Only natural.
We needed to make to the top 10. With some, you just need to make the top 10. But if it's not, then it's not. But we will make the best of it. 11 is also good after all the injuries, but 10 looks better.
I want to stay on the place 10, but then we need to have some luck also. And just finish the 2 races, and then depending also of Julian's results, if we can stay on place 10, you know. But we will do our best.
I think we need to take a very good start, like we did yesterday. And if we take a good start, we can let the faster teams can let them pass. So and then we need to know how big the gap is between Santermans and us. So
We've talked about that battle for third. Koen Hermans has it, Dierkens wants it, Stuart Brown is hanging around as well. He can claim 4th here, but Dierkens knows with a good ride he can go 3rd, and that's what he'll be playing for. Koen Hermans just has to keep going and ride safely.
Yeah, I think we're just going to focus on our own race and focus on a good start and get out clean out of the first few laps, and then try to have a good pace and try to battle for the top 5. Maybe if the feeling is good for the top 3. So we're going to see what the race brings.
No pressure whatsoever for the newly crowned champions Etienne Bax and Kasper Stupelis.
We know Rittesberg for many years, and we know that the temperature is really high and sunny, or it is really bad. There's nothing in between. So yeah, we're lucky that we have good weather now, and it will be a nice day of racing. I think it will be exciting. It's narrow in some places. I think it will be heart to heart. You know, it's the last GP. Everybody want to win this one.
Well, that's how they line up. That brilliant qualifying from Stuart Brown from Group A got him ahead of his son Jake Brown. So the two Browns topping the groups, and they go first and second. Bax, Dierkens, Hermans van Luckener, all the names that mean something are up there. Thomas Kolenchik, Foden, Kinge running through the order. Compilati's been going well. Gary Moulds, Brian Anthony completing the top 20. British crew's going well here. It seems to suit the left-hand sidecars here at Rudersberg. Further down the order, and those bottom 6 guys made it in from last chance. Good on them. Well done. Last round, it might be. Championship decided, it might be. But as you heard Etienne Bax say, everyone wants to win this one. It's the final GP for 2019. That will set you up psychologically for the coming season. And it will be short, the break over the winter. Just look how focused these guys were on race day. Compulsory gardening, sheltering out of the sun. 28 degrees here in Germany it was on race day, and everyone knew it was going to be warm. Final preparations, pushing the bikes to the line. The countdown had begun. "30 minutes plus 2 laps, down went the gate under cloudless skies, and the crews shot away, but it was Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain hitting the front of this one. A good crowd shuffling round behind, but it was Brown and Chamberlain from Van Luckener. Where was Bax? Well, Bax was about 7th at that point, but he wasn't too worried. This track, though difficult to overtake on, would prove to be really, really challenging, particularly for those crews further down the order where the dust was flying. Varick slipping through on the inside there. Already, Dierkens and Robbie Bax in trouble, so they didn't even complete the first lap before they were out of it, the number 10 crew. Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain, though, with a 4-stroke AMS Husky, leaping ahead with Van Luckener chasing them down. Gert van Verven and Larry Kunas holding off Bax and Stupelis at the moment, the newly crowned champions. Gert van Verven, despite injury, has ridden a very consistent season and doesn't give up easily, as you can see. He fought back. He wasn't going to let Etienne Bax get past that easily. But Dierkens, it looked to me as though that was a broken steering damper. They were out of the running, but they would be back in the race because the mechanics were working feverishly to make that happen. At the front, Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain were going supremely well in the sunshine, repeating their qualifying performance. With a clear track ahead of them, they were able to ride their own race. Van Luckener was with them, but he wasn't able to wind them in at all. Bax making his way through the field, right on the back of the number 20 French crew, Thomas and Le Breton. One of those crews making a rare appearance here in the World Championship. How good would it be to see some of these French crews do a full season and replace, not that he can ever be replaced, the amazing Valentin Giraud. If you're watching this, Valentin, keep that recovery going. We're all thinking of you. We all miss you terribly. But Bax, once past the Frenchman, got his nose down. Compilati was up there fighting as well with Varick and Didas, the number 7 crew. Kolanchik and Hayhal, the red-shirted number 38 crew, going well ahead of Dan Foden, Simon Horton, and they came round thick and fast. Right there, Kern Hermans right down the order. Having had problems in the early stages, having to really fight for a living. Don't forget, that third place was at stake. He looked, though, to be in good shape to hold on to it, having seen Arne Dierkin's trackside with a mechanical problem. But this battle between Kompalati, the 18 crew, and Varric Dieders, and there, hitting the fence, Varric Dieders. Loris Dieders looked at Kurt Varric, tapped his helmet, and basically said, "What do you think you're doing? Ride with your head, not with your hand." It's a bit of disagreement between the Estonian-Latvian pairing, and he'll be smarting a bit from that. But they get on with the job, and they'll have a few words afterwards, I'm sure. Kiss and make up, it was only handbags at dawn, no problem. Kompalati and Chopin, the French-Italian pairing, so very strong in the latter part of the season, were doing a great job here in Rudersberg as well. Great fights all the way down the field, but out front there was the most amazing display by Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain. Was this a fluke? Absolutely no way, as you will come to find out. Julian Veldman with young brother Sam, the 16-year-old new recruit to the Grand Prix season. They were hoping that they could maybe do a bit of a job on Christoph Santemans here, but Santemans was not going that badly. Dierkins, Robbie Backs fighting their way up through the field and having to do battle with some of the lower order crews. But it was all back together. New steering damper on, but they lost about half a lap changing it and would not finish in any sizable position. So that third place that Hermans sat in was pretty much guaranteed to stay his until the end. At the front, though, the 888 crew, with something like a 5-second lead over Van Lukenen in the early stages, had stretched that to 12 seconds. The Belgian former champions were not in sight. Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain, what a way for them to finish the 2019 season. It was an impeccable display from them, and going into the last 2 minutes before the extra lap board came out, they were in complete control of the Belgian Van Lukenen and his Dutch passenger Ben van den Bogart. Not a speck of dirt on the front of the AMS Husky. Brown riding with all of the composure and all of the experience that his multiple British Championship wins and his countless Grand Prix appearances. Twice third in the world, this man. And if he keeps riding like this, he's going to go fourth in the world in 2019, and that will be a remarkable recovery when you think how badly they started the season. Misfortune, breakdowns, crashes, all sorts of goings on. Checkered flag it was, though, for Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain. A job well done, and to be honest with you, I don't think they doubted it one bit. So dominant were they in qualifying that they were going to bring it home, and they certainly did. And in actual fact, Jake Brown was to finish fourth. Their confirmation, amazing win. Brown, Chamberlain, Van Lukenen second. Well down the order. Backs, Jake Brown fourth confirmed. Varric a good ride ahead of Hermans. There's your top 10, but what about Stuart Brown?
Again, with open mind. The same with the next race. If we get a good start, we're in with a chance. And obviously the speed is there, but it's hard to pass, you know, and also pass the back markers. So things, it's a little bit lucky, but yeah, it went good then.
Hard to pass, it certainly was. Etienne Bax will verify that. Look how he got caught up in the traffic.
Yeah, of course we want to win here, but it's tough here. It's quite tough here, and I think we had a good race. We had a good feeling on the bike. Okay, we had 4th, 5th place with the start, and at the end we came very close to Van Lukenen. So yeah, it was a good race. We know that Brown is fast here all weekend, so yeah, he's a deserved winner. And yeah, it's too bad that it was not a couple laps more, because I had a feeling that we could overtake Van Luggenen, but it is what it is, and hopefully we can make a nice second moto.
Well, I'm sure he's looking at winning the final race of the season, but I can tell you it was going to be a tough call, because Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain were riding like men possessed. Perfect control, unbelievable speed, and race 2 was just around the corner. An awful lot to think about. Stuart Brown poised to go 4th in the championship. Could he do it? You'll find out. Jakey was going well too. Van den Bogart, everybody very serious. And the former champion, what must he be thinking? Koen Hermans, guaranteed 3rd with a bit of luck. Well, race 2 came to the line. It was all systems go for this one. Stuart Brown had opted for the far right-hand side, and it worked again for Brown and Chamberlain. You heard him say if you get a good start, because it's difficult to pass, you stand a chance of winning. Well, he put himself in the pound seats ahead of Koen Hermans and Nicolas Mousset. That first turn, very, very tight. So if you got through there cleanly and you had a run at it, you could be away. Jake Brown got a good start as well. Kolenchik, the Czech, in there. Everybody in there. Van Lukener right down the order behind Varick, pushing wide, almost putting Van den Bogart into the green fencing. But Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain, with 30 minutes and 2 laps ahead of them, really went for it in this one. The fast starting Christoph and Maxime Couche, number 22, the Swiss cousins, were up there in front of Bax and Stupilis. How long would they stay there? Bax didn't get the start he wanted, but he quickly dived through on the inside of the Couche cousins. Did he make it stick? Well, you can see he did. Out in front though, with Hermans chasing, it was Stuart Brown. Bax now in 3rd with Kasper Stupilis. And he would dearly have loved to win this one, but he knew, and he admitted, that Stuart Brown had been going well all weekend, and you so often find that, barring mechanical problems, if a crew's riding well, everything is dropped into place and they can do it race after race. Bax then was through on Hermans up to 2nd place, but that, even this early in the race, was as much as he could manage. He was almost over the handlebars at that point. Hermans would have seen it. Kasper Stupilis would have seen it. Etienne Bax made a rare mistake. He does not often do that, but he almost exited over the front. The polished, hard-packed terrain here in Rudersberg, providing that narrow racing line. So hard it didn't really dig out at all. It was a very, very fast circuit with its massive jumps and almost glossy, slippery top surface. The Couche boys, the filling in the sandwich between Koen Hermans and Nicolas Mousset, looking down with a problem, and a rapidly advancing Jake Brown and Joe Millard. Hermans looking across at Nicola. They had a problem. Must have been mechanical reliability, and that is what transpired. The sidecar wheel had started to collapse, and that would bring an end to their proceedings. They were to try and change the wheel and get going again, but way, way down the order and out of the points. So with a collapsed, wobbling sidecar wheel, Hermans and Mousset and a hand in the air, it was game over for them, ahead of a rapidly advancing Arne Dierkens and Robbie Bax, the number 10 crew. Van Lukener, Van den Bogart in the hunt, and right behind Dierkens and ahead of Thomas and Le Breton. That sidecar wheel was being changed as quickly as possible. The crew very quickly on the scene. Jake Brown and Joe Millard still ahead of the Couches with Dierkens, Van Luken and Van den Bogart. At this point we had a 12-wheeler, but Jakey Brown knew that he could get up the order if he could only close in on Etienne Bax and Kasper Stupilis. Compilati and Chopin were to capsize it. An Italian hand in the air, Isa Ola over, I'm sorry, and that was it, out of the running. Such a shame for Compilati, he has been going so well. So everybody behind them, one further place up the order. Meanwhile, Jake Brown now ahead of the Couches and Dierkens and Robbie Bax closing them down as well, with Van Lukenen breathing down their neck. Dierkens and Bax went through, up another place, so they were to move up into 4th place, but Van Lukenen was coming. Marvin Van Lukenen and Ben van den Bogart, having had a bad start as the Italian-French pair kiss goodbye to the remainder of the 2019 season. They will be back for sure next year, and what a show they've given us this year. Hats off to the Italian-French pairing. Van Lukenen and Van den Bogart determined to fight for the championship next year. They've already stated they are going to be together. We're going well. At the front, Brown and Chamberlain looking absolutely pristine. Having a trouble-free ride, you only had to watch them to see how effortlessly and with such skill Brown and Chamberlain were negotiating this thing. Bax and Stupilis in 2nd place could not hold a candle to them on speed. They were 20 seconds adrift at this point in the race. So Brown and Chamberlain had found something really special here in Rudersberg and were putting it to good use. Up to 3rd place, Jake Brown, unaware possibly, unless his pit board had been telling him that Marvin Van Lukenen and Ben van den Bogart were very much on his case. But it was 3rd place for him, and looking good. The Brown dynasty coming into their own here in Rudersberg and having brilliant rides, both of them. The younger member of that family having been twice on the podium in recent weeks. Van Lukenen chasing Arnie Dierkens and Robbie Bax, and over the jump took the advantage, moving him into 4th place. So the outgoing champions having a fairly respectable finale here in Rudersberg, with 2nd place in race 1, culminating in 4th place race 2. Gary Moulds and Brian Anthony, the number 32 Northern Irish and Australian pairing. Again, another couple of guys who have ridden brilliantly in the closing stages of the season, moved over respectfully to allow Stuart Brown and Josh Chamberlain to do the double victory, a touch on the Cradley Wolfsport shirt. And Stuart Brown, Pro Seal, his sponsor, would be thrilled with that one. Fastest in qualifying. Overall victory, double wins. It does not get better than that. And that will have moved them to 4th place in the championship standings. Overall it was. There's the podium. Brown, Bax, Van Lukenen, Jake Brown narrowly missing out by 2 points on another podium. Varric, Van Werven-Kolenchik, Heinze, Hermans. What a way to finish off the season. Guaranteed 4th place in the table now. A fantastic fight from Josh Chamberlain and his driver Stuart Brown.
It's a long time now, but we felt the last few weeks have been going good and the speed's been good, but it just hasn't gone our way somehow. But today everything was perfect. 3 good starts in the quali race as well. So yeah, couldn't be any better.
Also, you've moved up in overall standings. Are you happy about that?
Oh yeah, really happy. We didn't expect that one bit really. We come here just open-minded and tried to finish really after the last few weeks we've had. But yeah, I'd like to obviously thank Josh. He's the best left passenger, you know. So he's so strong. He's rode with a broken wrist halfway through the year, so he's superb, and everybody else who's helped me.
Well, 4th in the championship for Brown, but 3rd consolidated. Koen Hermans and Nickel, who say a change of passenger for next year, but it was 3rd place for Koen Hermans.
This year was not really good for us. We are still 3rd at the end of the season, but I think it could be a lot better this year, but we had a lot of bad luck, so I'm happy it was not injuries, so that's still good. And I hope I can have a better year next year with Glenn Janssens. I'm looking really forward for this.
You first have to get your mechanical problems right, Koen, but outgoing champions Marvin Van Lukenen and Ben van den Bogart, they are 2nd this year, not all bad. They'll be back fighting.
I think you will see we fight always. We had some problems in the beginning of the season, and we find some problems. So we are happy with the end of the season. We had I think a strong second half of the season. So yeah, we're looking forward for next year, and we will fight for sure for the title.
You better believe it. Etienne Bax and Casper Stupilis. Look behind you in 2020. The Van Lucenen machine will be on a charge, you can be sure.
Yeah, I feel quite okay. Of course, we want to win here, of course, like every week. But you know, we had quite a hectic week so far. So with parties and everything. So yeah, it is not so easy, and we came a little bit less unprepared here than normally. So okay, it was our own fault, and we know what to do for next year. But you know, second overall is quite okay, and we are happy for sure when all the people are watching in my home city in Bergijk. They watch in the cafe. So hi to everybody.
There it is then, the final standings. A handsome victory. Etienne Bax and Casper Stupilis. Hermans consolidated. Brown then up into 4th place. Brilliant. Dierkens, Varick, Compolati. Did Santemans make top 10? Yeah, there he is, look. Well done, Christoph and Costas. Strong fights from Compolati. Stronger fight for Jake Brown, who moved 8th. Van Verven. The Veldmans, will they be together next year? That would be good to see. Willemsen, he'll be back, we know that, I've heard that. The Kushes, everybody did brilliantly this year. Brett Wilkinson, get well, Brett. Come on, mate, we need you. Gary Moulds, Brian Anthony, will the Australian be here next year? Will any of us be here next year? Of course we will. We hope you've enjoyed what has been a terrific 2019 World Sidecarcross season. 14 rounds, the length and breadth of Europe. It's been amazing. We'll be back, of course we will. From me, Barry Nutley, thanks for joining us. We love you. Winter well. See you next year.
We never stop, still going when you finish. And even when we bleed, still believe that we can win this. We got what's underneath, you're all about that image. We never even stop at the top, no limits. Champions, and we're the champions. And we're the champions. And we're the champions. So bring it on.
Willemsen is 10 times the world champion. Bax and Stupilis, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin Van Lucenen certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable.